All right. How's everyone doing? This is Hala Pablo. Thank you for tuning in. Let's just get right into it. Bitcoin. Yeah, we have had some price action, haven't we? We've had some pumping going on, some rallies, some upward momentum, serious upward momentum. Um, and yeah, a lot of people are curious. I know a lot of the bullish the people that have had bullish sentiment all down this regression trend here. Um, this, by the way, on the right hand side is the 2025 uh, distributional algorithm, and then this is the 2022 one, and I've kind of brought it up to where I believe we are algorithmically in the fractals with the sister fractals. And so there's always a fractal. It's just a matter of finding the right time frame and locating it. And so when something seems to invalidate, when an event happens, like something that we've just had, the best thing to do, what I in my experience, is to not panic. There's always an explanation. More often than not, these occurrences can be tracked historically, and you could find it if you have enough patience, and you could dig around enough. And so this is what I found. But anyway, going back, I know that the bulls are they're very ecstatic right now. They're in ecstasy, and a lot of people are talking about now an all-time high, going directly from here to an all-time high, and that this is the end of the uh, bear cycle as we know it. Now we've had a reversal. There's some people who still believe that we've never even entered a bear cycle, so that we haven't retraced or marked down at all, really, with any kind of macro reversal sentiment that would denote a bear trend. And so this kind of justifies what they've been thinking all along, and certainly the bulk majority of traders are bearish, and they're seeing just more and more, just higher and higher prices. But uh, but I want to kind of bring everyone back down to earth here, if I will, if I may. There are, yes, we did have a momentum drive, and there is money to be made in these price movements, but we need to keep in mind that the price is still following the algorithm, the distributional algorithm. As you can see, we've this pump here played right in line with what happened 4 years earlier. In fact, as I shared with my group, this drive that we've just had turned out to be a UTAD, which is an upthrust after distribution. And though this looks like, because we have this double bottom here, that this is going to go all the way up, mitigate the highs, and maybe create an all-time high and create this gigantic inverted head and shoulder here. We know from the fractal algorithmic price action that that is not, in fact, what happened in 2022. And indeed, if you look at the macroeconomics of the world, the tariff situation, there's still a lot of turmoil going on in the world right now. There's the whole global trade wars between the European Union and the United States, Mexico, Canada, China, Japan. It's just none of that has been resolved. There's no deals that have been negotiated. As far as I know, everything is still kind of in limbo there. What really precipitated all this was from what I understand, Trump saying that he was looking to get rid of Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, and so that spooked just an aroma of something like that. Uh, can spook the investors to think that the DXY, or the dollar index, could collapse, destabilize the dollar, and then so that's what caused gold to pump, and Bitcoin also, which is the digital version of gold. But gold just exploded, right? And yeah, that's because they're looking for a safe haven, a potential safe haven, in the event that the DXY does crash, and the dollar loses value, to have it temporarily in gold and in Bitcoin. So that was what precipitated this sort of drive that we've seen. But we know all good things don't last, and what goes up must come down. And oftentimes these events are used as catalysts, as you well know, to manipulate the emotions of traders, and in this case engender or stir up FOMO, intense FOMO in Bitcoin. It doesn't mean that Bitcoin is reversed and it's broken out of the macro parent cycle, which has been a downtrend since the all-time high back in January. And so we see this similar play out here in this fractal. And if we go ahead and play it over here on the left, we see what happened. Now this marked up 27% from this low here in this redistribution, and came right back down, remitigated the lows here, and we know in retrospect that this thing proved to be, here's this gigantic, here's the ABC correction, and this thing just kept going and going and going. But before that, we had a counter trend rally, kind of like what we have here. That went up 27%. We've gone about 25%, I believe. If you take it from the low, the low of this range, 23.4%, and here they went 20. No, that's not right. Let me see here. Yeah, we'll take it from here. 31%. Yeah, so a little bit more. But anyway, the point is we haven't gone nearly as far as, I mean, we've had 40% pump here. This whole redistribution, what turned out to be a redistribution. Now this could have been a bottom like this. Now this first one, this accumulation range between subcycle A and B, was an actual accumulation. We had this deep spring, and then we came up, put up another leg, and this actually started to create this whole new head and shoulder system. The left shoulder, the head, and then such this double top here. And so that's one of the things I was considering, because this I considered this to be this here. Perhaps if this goes down to like this kind of like this deep spring, and that could have been this here, and then we marked up here. And I suppose this could still very well be this. This could be a bottom. This could be it, and then we come up and have this macro inversion of the head and shoulders here, like we were talking about. In which case, this whole new system will put up a whole new all-time high. But I don't see that happening. I mean, of course, I could be wrong, and I don't have a crystal ball, but we don't have, again, the macroeconomics. We don't have. There's still a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, and something to like facilitate a pump like this to go up from this deep spring all the way up to the new. I mean, this went up 100 and we're just going to say 132%. To see 132% on this, when already we're getting kind of stopped out at 92. We're seeing stoppage supply at 92 at this old order block. There's a tremendous amount of resistance in this area here. The absolute highest I see it going is 96,000, and that's if we could blow through this here order block. And now I've got this on the 6 hour, but if we take it to the 1 hour, you could see it a little more clear. See this big supply bar right here? Yeah, that's usually, it doesn't mean that it can't go up a little bit higher, but this is usually like, when the party's about to end, or they're starting to close a restaurant and they start flickering the lights, to let people know, hey guys, it's closing time. This kind of this is sort of like the indicator that the party might be wrapping up soon when you have this very, very large supply candle, that the supply bar that comes in right at this top, at this mitigation point of this liquidity void, which we see it kind of created, which went above the neckline of this double bottom here, or we can call this a triple bottom. This is that same fractal. It's just blown up on the forensic, but that is this here. That is this here, and this is this here. So if you go and let's just say, and I want this video to go on too long, I got stuff to do. Man, I'm so sore, man. So anyway, I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and man, I had a couple tough rolls today, and I'm just sore and tired. So I'm going to try to get this, make this as brief as possible, so I could just chill. But so we're going to anchor a VWAP. So we'll anchor an ICE to the all-time high of 2022, and you see it came right through this tip here. That's what I want to show you. Here's what we're looking at, okay? Because I'm contending that that's this area here. So we're going to go off the all-time high of this present cycle. This would be the second mitigation, 109 grand, and you see how this comes down here. And then we're going to do a second VWAP, and we can go off the selling climax here. All right, and that came right under. You see how it bounced? The price bounced off this first VWAP. It came up through the second, and we're hitting resistance now here. All right, and then we're going to do a second VWAP on the fractal here, and that kind of goes through sort of the same place here where we had the bounce. This was that low here where we had this bounce, because I'm contending that this area here is this area here after this triple mitigation of the lows here. Here we only had a double mitigation, but this wave came down much lower, so it was almost like this one came down here. Then we would have this. That would be the replicate fractal. And so we see that this kind of like, you know, the volume weighted average price lines, the ICE lines have come down in relatively the same areas. We have extremely high demand on this one, but we're still encountering a failure to rally at the old resistance points of this range here and here. We're seeing that stoppage supply come in like we talked about. And plus we have the fractal. And so going back to 2022, we know what happened. We know the fate of this. This turned out to be a UTAD or a bull trap. And once it got up to the overbought area above the second anchored VWAP, it kind of did a couple more stabs at it, but these just proved to be final liquidity runs atop the second anchored VWAP, and then it was down from there. And so I'm trying to see if that's something that's going to play out this time around. Now, if instead of that we get like we come back down and retest this anchored VWAP and we close on it on, say, like at least on the daily or maybe like the 2-day or 3-day, and then we begin building further up for there, that would invalidate this fractal here, and then I'd have to go searching for something else as I monitor the VSA in relation to the anchored VWAP. So that's about all I got today, guys. I'm going to sign off. I'm tired. I'm sore. God bless you all. Love you. Just subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Get more updates. When it's time to be a bull, we'll be a bull. And when it's time to be a bear, we'll be a bear. You know, there's no such thing in my group or in my trading philosophy as perma anything. I just go off price action. The market is chief, you know. The price action in the market is chief. So whatever the patterns are printing out, according to the fractals and the algorithms and the volume metrics, then we go off that. So I just wanted to let you guys know. So if the bias shifts from bearish to bullish, like I said, if we start building atop of this anchored VWAP and in this fractal range here, this UTAD gets invalidated. Instead of a UTAD, it becomes a series of LPSs as it marks up. From there, then we're going to count this range as an accumulation, and we're going to readapt our bias and our technical analysis, and then we'll become bullish. And so and that would be all right. I mean, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen anyways. But I make more money in bull markets than bear markets, so nobody would like to be a bull more than me in this situation, because I don't short. So anyway, with that, I'm gonna let you go. God bless. Subscribe if you haven't, and check out our Discord group if you like to take your trading up another notch. We'll talk to you guys later. None of what I said is financial advice, but you already knew that. We'll talk to you soon. Adios. Bye-bye.